Aaron Charles Rodgers was born on December 2, 1983 in Chico, California, a small city tucked into the northern part of the state. He grew up in a close-knit family that valued discipline, humility, and personal responsibility. His father, Ed Rodgers, had played college football as an offensive lineman and taught his sons the fundamentals of the game early on, not just the mechanics, but the mindset. For young Aaron, the backyard was his training ground, and competition with his brothers became the forge where his fire was lit. He wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the fastest. But even at a young age, he had an uncanny awareness of the field and a deep love for the quarterback position. He attended Pleasant Valley High School in Chico and put up impressive stats, over 4,400 passing yards and 50 touchdowns during his time there. But college scouts didn't come calling. He was considered undersized, and his throwing mechanics, while effective, weren't textbook. Without a single Division I scholarship offer, Rodgers had two options: give up on his dream or bet on himself. He chose the latter and enrolled at Butte Community College in nearby Oroville. At Butte, everything changed. Rodgers exploded onto the scene, throwing for 26 touchdowns and leading his team to a 10-1 record. He displayed poise, mobility, and arm talent that caught the attention of University of California head coach Jeff Tedford, who happened to be recruiting another player. One look at Rodgers' tape and Tedford offered him a scholarship on the spot. Rodgers transferred to Cal and immediately made his presence felt. In 2 seasons, he threw for over 5,400 yards and 43 touchdowns, including a record-tying performance against USC in 2004 where he completed 23 straight passes at one point. Though Cal narrowly missed the Rose Bowl that season, Rodgers had established himself as a first-round NFL prospect. But the draft didn't go according to plan. Rodgers was widely projected as a top 10 pick and hoped to be taken first overall by his hometown team, the San Francisco 49ers. Instead, the Niners chose Alex Smith. Rodgers began to fall. 10 picks went by. Then 20. He sat in the green room as name after name was called. Finally, at pick number 24, the Green Bay Packers selected him. It was a shocking slide and a bittersweet moment. The Packers had Brett Favre, a living legend, still starting, still beloved. Rodgers had just entered one of the most complicated quarterback rooms in NFL history. What followed were 3 long, grueling years on the bench. Rodgers didn't play much. He took scout team reps. He refined his mechanics, corrected a high release point, and learned the intricacies of the West Coast offense under head coach Mike McCarthy. But behind the scenes, tension simmered. Favre was still producing but flirting with retirement each offseason. The fans didn't want to change. The media speculated endlessly. But in 2008, when Favre officially retired, then quickly unretired, the Packers made their choice. They traded Favre to the New York Jets. It was Rodgers' team now. The transition wasn't smooth. Fans booed. Teammates were divided. Rodgers stayed composed. In his first season as a starter, he threw for over 4,000 yards and 28 touchdowns. He earned the respect of the locker room not with speeches but with performance. He wasn't trying to be Favre. He was being himself, methodical, surgical, and efficient. In 2010, Rodgers and the Packers caught fire at the right time. Sneaking into the playoffs as a 6th seed, Green Bay won 3 straight road games to reach the Super Bowl. There, in Super Bowl 45 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Rodgers delivered a masterpiece: 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was named Super Bowl MVP. The shadow of Brett Favre was officially gone. What followed was a decade of brilliance. Rodgers became the most efficient quarterback the league had ever seen. In 2011, he threw for 4,643 yards, 45 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions. His passer rating of 122.5 was the highest in a single season at the time. That year, the Packers went 15-1, and Rodgers won his first NFL MVP award. He became known for his quick release, precision passing, and ability to make impossible throws look routine. He didn't just throw the ball, he placed it like a surgeon. Rodgers' signature moments piled up: the Hail Mary against Detroit in 2015, the game-winning drive against the Cowboys in the 2016 playoffs, and countless escapes from pressure followed by jaw-dropping touchdowns thrown across his body. He combined the football IQ of a professor with the improvisational skills of a jazz musician. His command at the line of scrimmage, use of the hard count, and ability to draw defenders offsides became legendary. But the postseason was another story. Despite consistently elite play, the Packers couldn't get back to the Super Bowl. In 2014, they lost a heartbreaking NFC championship to the Seattle Seahawks after leading by 12 with 5 minutes to go. In 2016, they were overwhelmed by Atlanta. In 2019, the 49ers ran them into the ground. And in 2020, with a chance to host the Super Bowl on the line, the Packers lost at Lambeau to Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Time and again, Rodgers came close, but not close enough. Behind the scenes, tension brewed between Rodgers and the Packers front office. He was frustrated by personnel decisions and a perceived lack of communication. When Green Bay drafted quarterback Jordan Love in the first round of the 2020 draft without informing him, Rodgers was stunned. He responded the only way he knew how, with greatness. That season, he threw for 48 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions, and won his 3rd MVP award. In 2021, he did it again, 37 touchdowns, 4 picks, another MVP. Off the field, Rodgers evolved into one of the most enigmatic figures in sports. He was fiercely intelligent, introspective, and unafraid to speak his mind. He hosted Jeopardy! As a guest, referenced philosophers in interviews, and explored unconventional health practices. During the COVID-19 pandemic, he came under fire for comments about vaccination and personal health choices. Critics labeled him defiant. Supporters called him courageous. Either way, Rodgers was never afraid to be different. In 2023, after 18 seasons with the Packers, the relationship reached its end. He was traded to the New York Jets, following in the footsteps of Brett Favre years earlier. The move signaled a new chapter, not just for Rodgers, but for the NFL. The Jets, long a franchise searching for stability, had finally landed a superstar. Hype built, anticipation grew. And on the 4th play of his first game as a Jet, Rodgers dropped back to pass. He was sacked. His Achilles tendon snapped. Just like that, his season was over. It was a cruel twist of fate. A legend starting a new journey cut short before it began. But Rodgers didn't waver. He vowed to return. He committed to the Jets. And he began the long road back, focused, determined, and still believing that his story wasn't finished. Aaron Rodgers' legacy is still being written. But already he's one of the most accomplished quarterbacks in NFL history. A 4-time MVP, a Super Bowl champion, a 10-time Pro Bowler, and the most efficient quarterback of his era. His career passer rating, touchdown-to-interception ratio, and completion percentage place him among the all-time greats. But statistics only tell part of the story. Rodgers redefined how quarterbacking could be done. He was a master of the modern game, pre-snap reads, audibles, cadence manipulation, and split-second decision-making. He made the impossible look inevitable. His accuracy, especially outside the pocket, set a new standard. And his ability to elevate average receivers into household names spoke to his leadership and adaptability. He was never afraid to speak truth to power, never afraid to question the system. He wasn't built for everyone, but he was built for greatness. From the green room in 2005 to the mountaintop in 2010, from MVPs to heartbreaks, from misunderstood to undeniable, Aaron Rodgers carved a path entirely his own. And when the history books are written, when fans talk about the most gifted throwers to ever play the game, one name will always be in the conversation. A name that stood for excellence, individuality, and mastery. That name is Aaron Rodgers.